Welcome back to another episode at Consciously Evolving Enterprises. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Ryan Dillon Brasington. It is a goddamn hot day down here in Australia. I'm telling you, it's like 6:38 p.m. at night, and it is still reading at 32 degrees. Oh my god! Talk about sweating your balls off. My eyebrows have melted off my face. Anyway, push yourself, do things you don't want to do. I thought, you know what? I'm not up for it, but I'm going to do it anyway. I really want to tell you guys about a dream I had when I was young. This dream was an awesome dream. It was vivid. I was in it. I was there. I could feel, smell, touch everything that was in it. Like, it literally was a vivid dream. The only way to explain it is the way that I went into it and continue from there. This dream itself has inspired many chapters in a book I've read. If you guys haven't listened to it, please do. I'm going to include this probably in the intro just so you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this dream, as you do go to sleep one night. Anyway, I literally found myself going through water weaves, making my way through this grass water weaves, and I'm splitting them, I'm parting them. And as I've parted them this last time, I've walked out onto this sandy little beach. I mean, it's only a meter wide to this opening of a basin, and among the water along this basin was this fog that was just rolling like a mist along the water. It was awesome. I'm like, whoa, as I'm starting to take it in, walking closer to the water's edge, my toes hit the water's edge, and a little splash like of the tide comes in, and literally washes against my toes. And I'm like, whoa, this is cool, and I'm looking around to my right in the far distance, through the fog and mist, in the very far distance, I can see a hill with like pine trees as the forest. On the left, it's more of a flat zone leading up and into the same kind of distant mountain. And to the left, also pine trees, the little beach that rolls up, and directly in front of me, I can see a glistening iceberg in the middle of this lake that I'm looking at. I'm like, whoa, this is cool. And in this iceberg that I'm looking at, the only way to explain it is a glacier, and it's glowing at me. And inside of it, I can see this little ball, and it's also glowing. I can see it zipping around. It's glowing. Before I can kind of like take focus and soak that in, to my right, rolling up in a boat, I'm looking, I can see three silhouettes in this boat. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And I'm still standing on the water's edge, and I'm looking out, and the mist is rolling along. Silhouettes are coming closer. I wonder who this is. And then the boat pulls in, this little reefy boat. You can imagine three people fit in it. It comes closer. I notice three entities are in it. One first standing to the right is a pig man. In the middle is this warrior prince guy with golden locks, and to the left is another pig man. And anyway, like before I can even soak his image in, I've stepped back a little bit in the sand, and this warrior man is like jumped out the boat, and before I can even take it in, he's rushed towards me, and he's pulled his sword from his side and directly to my throat. And I'm like, whoa, I'm dumbfounded. And as I'm looking at this prince warrior guy, all muscly and buff with these golden lock mud curls, I can see a resemblance. And I'm like, this guy kind of looks like me. Hold on, like, that is me. And it's like he's done the same thing. He's looking at me, can see the resemblance, and I'm actually looking up at the moment. So like he's taller than me as well. But I'm like, that's me. You're me. I'm you. You're me. And before we could exchange words, we're both kind of take this in. And he said to me, "You can't be here long. What are you doing here? You can't be here long." And I was like, "I'm just looking around. I'm just looking around, man." And anyways, he said, "You can't be here long. You can't be here long. You're not meant to be here." And I was like, "Okay, I'm just here. I just want to look around." And he said, "You can't be long. You haven't got long." And I was like, "Okay, all right." I'm just trying to like remember any words that he said after that. It was something about if you stay too long, you just start messing stuff up. It was something along those lines. Like if you stay too long, things will start falling apart. Like something like that. And I was like, okay, warning heard, man. I'm just here to look around. Anyway, so he's jumped. He's put his sword back in his sheath, and then he stepped back in his boat, and he's disappeared into the mist, back down to the right side here, down the river. And I'm like, okay, this is my time. I'm gonna have a good look around, and I look straight back at this glacier that's in the middle of the lake, and I think, you know what? I'm gonna swim out there to this thing, man. You know, like this is cool. Oh, this is cool. I swim out. I swim out and swimming through this lake, and I can feel the different water temperature. It's warm on top, and then it's slightly colder down bottom, and then even colder where the Kraken lives, right down there. I'm like, I can feel my heart like beating. I'm like, whoa, get it, hurry up, get to this glacier. And I get to this iceberg glacier, and I climb up. I'm like, this is cold on my fingertips, and it's kind of not a melty iceberg. I'm like, is this crystal? Is this crystal? I'm not sure. Is it a glacier or crystal? So I make my way up, and then I come to this ledge, and I peek up over this ledge, and that's where I can see this little glow ball. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. And this little glow ball is zipping around, and I focus on what it's actually doing, and it's making these like really intricate archways, like weaved. I can't explain it. If you have ever seen Celtic, it was weaved like Celtic. It was like that. The only way I can kind of like pillars of ice that were just magnificent to look at. All nice twisted around as it rounded up to a top, and then went into these spectacular shapes of Celtic patterns, like into that archway. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool, man. That is so awesome. And then I noticed that under my fingers, the ice is starting to melt, and the warning came to my head about what that Prince Warrior guy had said. And he'd said, you know, if you stay too long, things are going to start falling apart. You're going to start messing things up. And I went, okay, this is the time. I gotta leave. So I was like soaking him on. I was like, that's cool. As this little thing zipping around, and I can see it's trying to fix what I'm melting. Like the heat from my hands is traveling now up into those pillars, and they're literally starting to melt. And I'm like, yeah, all right, things are falling apart. I gotta go. So I climb down this pillar, this iceberg. I get back in the water, and to the right, I notice this shack, and I'm like, oh, what's that shack about, man? That's pretty cool. Like, that's a place I'd want to live, you know. And I'm like, I'm gonna go and check this out. Over to this, like I said, it's a tin shack, like in the middle of this pine forest. I'm like, cool. So I make my way over to the left, and I'm paddling, make my way over, and then as I come more into a visual, I can see there's a little bit of veggie garden outside. You know, I'm like, this is cool. You know, this is a little shack in nowhere. You know, and I make it to the shore, and I creep up, and I can see the window, and through the window I can see blue curtains. And then I'm like, all right, you know, I can see something glittering, glowing inside. What's going on there? And then I kind of creep up a little bit, you know, a little bit closer. I can see it's a television. And I'm like, okay, that's a bit odd. Like out here in the middle of nowhere, there's a television. And then anyway, I climb over another rock. And then I make it my way to the window. I'm finally at this window, and I peek up over the ledge, and I look in. And I'm looking at a couch. And then my eyes gaze up, and I'm looking at what I can describe as a rhinoceros sitting in a chair, but it's not a rhinoceros. It's a man rhinoceros. It's a rhino man. And he's wearing blue overalls and is sitting in this brown couch, and he's watching this television that's glittering. And I look at the television, and I can kind of see me looking through the window at him. And it's... And then he's going like this, and I'm look back at him, and he started to sniff the air. And what's that? I can smell no, I can smell you. I can smell you. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, started to back off, and I remember jump back over the rock, back over the little vegetable, falling through this bush, and then back into the water, and then I can smell you. This rhinoceros comes charging through this shack side, smashes through the side, and jumps through the air. And I'm like, whoa! the whole ground, even the water shook. And I'm like, edging my way back into the water. And this rhino goes, I know you're here. I can smell you. I can smell you. And I'm like, whoa. I'm backing out. I'm going back to where I came from. And I started to back my way back out of the water and back towards the grass reefs from where I came from. And that's kind of the last thing I remember before coming to and thinking, what an awesome dream, man. That was so real. So I wrote it down, lost that writing, ended up writing a whole nother book and chapters, but included this in different ways, not this actual story about the dream I once had. So anyways, please like, subscribe, do whatever your kids do these days.